Hello, BookTube. This is yet another attempt. You haven't seen the other ones or heard the the language coming from me of a shelf tour. The lighting, the trying to place the camera, because of course my books are set up like everyone else's, I imagine, for convenience and based on what the space is. And none of those things seem to be fitting with working with my camera. So I did a shelf tour about 6 years ago. And it's really what I started my channel with. And that was at the old farmhouse. We've since moved into the village and a cottage. It's a bit smaller than the old place. I started my shelf tour right after Steve Donahue had started his first one. And a lot of how I did it was based on how he did it. And I really enjoyed those of his. And he started one this year, and I've been enjoying that. And I decided I was going to start one this year just because the books have changed, the placement has changed, and the placement change is driving me nuts because it's almost impossible to film. But we'll do our best to get through this. Again, because I'm in the cottage, and I don't have as much space, and I have a lot of books, I'm really trying to learn to take advantage of the e-reader. And we'll see how that goes. I think it may be the answer for me. I'm never going to give up having print books, but the e-reader allows me to make sure I have the print books in the house I want. And so we'll see how it goes. This is a year for me to be messing with an e-reader, so we'll see how that goes. The first one I'm going to try to take down here is just probably going to be a disaster. I don't even know how to show it. I had this problem when I did my first shelf tour. So it's this gigantic thing here. Hopefully, it's not covered by dust. This is a letterpress Shakespeare, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it's from the Folio Society. It's one of these big clamshell boxes. I'm going to have to put it down on the chair here to take out. I don't know if I can open it so that you can see how it looks. I sure can give it a try. I don't want to damage it. So this is what it would look like on the inside. Has a little board here on top to protect it. On top is the play itself. It's produced on a letterpress. And then nestled underneath it is some of these guides. I don't know if I can get that so you can see it. Some of these little guides you can actually buy from the Folio separately. Quite pretty. And this is Midsummer Night's Dream, edited by Peter Holland. Oh, wait a minute. It's hard to tell with the lighting in here. Let me see if I get a little closer so you can see it. Folio Society. And here, I'll let you look there. This is copy E. So this is before they did the numbered. So it says letterpress Shakespeare, Midsummer Night's Dream, typeset monotype Baskerville, with the CAS on display by Gloucester, typesetting services, Stonehouse, printed by Hand and Eye Letterpress, London, Zircon mold-made paper, bound by hand at the craft bindery of Black & Meyer, as Nigerian goatskin leather and marble paper by Ann Muir. This edition is limited to 3,750 numbered copies for sale to members of the Folio Society, and 25 lettered copies which are not for sale. And this is a lettered copy, and this is copy E. And this was something I won from the Folio Society. I think I was the second person to win one of their contests where they gave these away. They gave other stuff away. So quite nice. One of my prized possessions. Here, let me box this up. I'll leave it here so you don't have to watch me struggle with it. So the next thing here is Wonders of the World. We'll battle with the lighting here as usual. Slipcase. Again, a Folio Society. Here's the cover. Quite big, as you can tell. End papers. And this is Simon Goldhill, Richard Barber, Theodore K. Robb, and Jonathan Glancy in London, Folio Society. And let's see here. This is they all got different. Let me just dip in here. So you have some of the ancient Egyptian stuff. Beautiful here, huh? But just a feast for the eyes. Well, not just. It is a feast for the eyes. New York. See if I can do this here. This is always going to be a little bit of a struggle, so you have to bear with me. There's just no other way to do this. This is the South Polar Times. A little bit of dust on that one. Let me see. How do we get that so you can see it? Maybe like that. Yeah, because of the print, it's like a silver color. It's not gonna film very well. Not too bad there. So South Polar Times was a newspaper they did. This is Folio Society 2018, and it's introduced by Ann Savers. Beautiful thing. So the South Polar Times was first published as individual magazines during the British National Antarctic Discovery Expedition, 1901 to 1904, and the British National Antarctic Terra Nova Expedition of 1910 and 13. The first 5 issues were subsequently published in Britain as a single volume, and the following 3 in 1907. The first 3 issues of Terra Nova were published by Smith Albee. You don't need all that stuff, but these are reproduced beautifully in this book. Just a joy to look at. I'm just opening at random here. Some of you will remember that old mimeograph stuff. What do we have here? So these people on the expedition, that was one of their projects, was doing these for each other. So quite a wonderful book to have. Yeah. Then this next one here was one I actually gave my father, but when he passed away, it came back to me. This is David Halberson's The Summer of '49, a little Easton Press volume. There's the end papers with a ballpark. This is originally from 1989. Little blurb in the beginning here, Joseph Campbell from A Hero with a Thousand Faces. Some of you have read that. Wonderful book. And it's all about that year between the Yankees and the Red Sox. So you have ball players there. Joe DiMaggio. Yeah, quite a book. Quite a book. I think there's a second section of pictures. Yeah. Ted Williams. So yeah, it's a lot of memories in this one for me. Halverson struck quite good anyway. Here's a. We got a little dust too. I've had this a long time. Doesn't have a slipcase. This is A Life of Love and Music, Hector Berlioz. Again, Folio Society. And it's the memoirs of Hector Berlioz, 1803 to 1865. And there are some illustrations, I believe. Or maybe not. Let me see. Oh, yeah, right here. What are you doing, Bubba? My dog's half under the table, gnarling away at something. Then another music Folio Society themed thing. This is Mozart. Is the end papers? I know you're getting half of me out of the screen, but you want to see the books, you don't want to see me anyway. This is Life of Mozart, including his correspondence by Edward Holmes, and it's from 1991 in the Folio Society. So, let's see if I get some of the others. I have more biographies, and you'll see more biographies of Mozart in this house when we get to other sections. So I keep these Folio Society Eastern Press, some of these collectibles separate on the shelf over here, and there may be sections where this subject matter on some of these is elsewhere, like English language here. So I have tons of books on that, but they just have their own section except for the collectibles here. This is the English language by Robert Birchfield. Again, Folio Society. So you see the outside there with the print. This is London 2006. It has an introduction by Robert McCrum and an afterword by John Simpson. Subject that's always fascinated me. So a bit of Shakespeare there. How are we doing on time? Oh, not too bad. I can get going here. This one will probably get me kicked off book too. This is Kenneth Clark, The Nude. It's a history of art. Nice, good sized thing. London, the Folio Society. And there's some of the beautifully illustrated. The discussion's wonderful. And it's just what it says it is. Let's see here. This will give me a chance to dust these while I go along. This is Egypt Revealed. Love the color on this cover. End papers. This is Egypt Revealed, Artist Travelers in an Antique Land by T.G.H. James. 1997 from the Folio Society. And just to give you an idea on some of this stuff, what it looks like on the inside here. It's nicely produced. Those of you doing Historathon this year, this might be a handy one to use. Or I think the first section. Next one here is Gaze of Hermes, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Here's the cover. A selection of original manuscripts translated and edited by Gaze of Hermes, London Folio Society 2000. Scroll scholarship is really full of controversy always. There was a point not too many years ago where there were certain scholars had monopolies on fragments and stuff like that. A lot of that's broken up now, but interesting story. And this is a nice little set. You'll see this around quite a lot. The Greek Myths by Robert Graves, Volume 1 and 2. Yeah, both covers are the same. Let me grab Volume 1 and get the end maps. End papers. Introduced by Kenneth McLeish, illustrated by Graham Baker. London, the Folio Society. Of course, the Robert Graves retelling of the Greek myths. Bit idiosyncratic, fascinating. See if I can find any illustrations. Graves was quite a character, a poet, and he saw the world that way. So a lot of you will know him from I, Claudius, and that was a BBC miniseries, I guess you call it, many years ago. Here's one that's a bit faded on. I think it's not too bad on the spine there. It's Alexander the Great. The cover portrait's a bit faded. That's what I was remembering. Here's the end papers. This is Raman Lane Fox, Folio Society, 1997. One of the better Alexander the Great bios I've read. But there's been so many of them. I haven't read them all, obviously. Was it Mary Renault did a short one that I really liked? I think that's who it was. There we go with that. What are you doing, buddy? He's all the way, now this is a 100-pound puppy, and he's all the way wrapped around the bottom, underneath the chairs and all that. So I'm going to have to get him out of there eventually. This is A Secret History. It's supposed to be like a mosaic. A little easier to see when I get it out here. This is Procopius, A Secret History, translated by G.A. Williamson, introduced by Philip Ziegler, London, the Folio Society, 1990. And quite scandalous stuff. And quite a fun read, actually. You got to take it with a bit of a grain of salt. Now, I'm not going to pull this one down. You can see it easy. This is Edward Gibbon's The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. I'll take the first one out. I have 8 volumes of this. You want to be careful of these boxes. I love how they're done. I have over on the other side in the classical history section, I have a abridged version. But the abridged version doesn't have the footnotes. So here's edited with an introduction by Betty Radis, Folio Society. And the footnotes, I believe, are what is charming. So quite a nice set. Glad to have it. I dip in and out of it. Like I said, I've read I don't know who it was, Modern Library or somebody did the abridged version. I'm going to do the same thing here. This is Plutarch's Lives in 4 volumes. I'll take out the first one so you can get an idea. This is a Dryden translation, if I can get the first one out. Here. There we go. Always worry about busting up these boxes because they build up air pressure and you can crack them. So you want to lean and let them slide out. Beautifully designed. This is Dryden translation, edited by Arthur Hugh Clow. Introduction by Tom Holland. Illustrations by David Rooney, Folio Society. And this is volume 1, The Rise of Classical Greece. So this will have the parallel lives, right? So here you get an idea of just looking at the illustrations page. So you're going to get everything. A lot of times these are I'm not saying abridged, but they're selected. Let me see here. So nice to have, easy print to read, very comfortable sitting in the chair and reading those. How are we doing on time here? 19 minutes, we'll just do a few more. This is a Stephen Runciman, the great historian of the Crusades. This is the fall of Constantinople, 1453. End papers. I like Runciman. I don't have his folio set of the Crusades, which is a box set I'd love to get. I will find it eventually. I've seen it, just when do you have the money or the space or the whatever. So if you like these, if you like that kind of history, I enjoy Runciman. He's a bit of a odd duck, had quite a personal history. You'll run into him if you read some of the stuff about Patrick Leigh Moore and all that stuff. And then I think, yeah, I can do one or two more. Here's, this doesn't have the slipcase. This is Matthew's King Arthur. You'll see this author, yeah, it's John and Caitlin Matthews. This is King Arthur, History and Legend. Sort of a specialization of the author of this stuff. I don't know, many you remember back in the day that used to be Jeffrey Ash that you would think of with that sort of thing. For the Lamort d'Arthur, I always think of this scholar Vinegar, but this is that. And then we'll finish up here with the Venerable Bede, where we get a lot of what we know about early British history or English history. Nice edition. Bede, History of the English Church and People, translated by Leo Shirley Price, revised by R.E. Latham, introduced by Melvin Bragg. London, the Folio Society, 2010. This is the source book for so much of it. Well, that's pretty. And yeah, quite a beautifully produced book. Yeah, Penguin has their version. It's not too hard to find, but in this particular edition, I really like. I'm gonna. Well, I know I got one more I can do that sort of fits in an older volume, and then that'll give me a good place to stop. Again, one without a slipcase, but this is the life of Thomas Becket, Chancellor and Archbishop. It's like a wooden type cover, sort of hard to tell on the video. And Folio Society. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we got some illustrations. It's an odd little volume. That'll wrap it up for me here. I'm going to try to get that first book I did back up on the shelf. This big old letterpress thing. We'll try to do some more. I know I'm in and out of the camera, but this is like the fourth, fifth, I don't know, 1,000th attempt today. And I'll get the dog out from under the table. So I hope you're all well, and thank you, BookTube.